Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Daily's 2A News. So today we're going to be talking about that very important case, which is New York versus NYSRPA. It's a carry case in front of the Supreme Court right now that everybody is watching closely. It is an extremely important case that would have ramifications across the entire country. However, there's been a lot of news and a lot of speculation lately that this case could end up being moot, thrown out, or changed, or just get an unfavorable ruling because of what New York is doing. So let's talk about it. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. Again, this is a very important case sitting in front of the Supreme Court. It comes out in New York versus the NYSRPA, where the NYSRPA is saying that the rules and regulations and certain requirements in order to obtain a permit in New York are unconstitutional. It means that the average, ordinary, everyday person can essentially not get a permit in New York. And so they took that to the circuit courts and it went through, its entire process, ended up at the Supreme Court. Well, like New York likes to do, they've done this in the past, is that New York, if they see that they may not get a favorable outcome, they change certain parts about a law so that the law isn't the same as it was when it originally wound its way up through the courts and ended up in front of the Supreme Court, making it moot. And what moot means is that the case really doesn't have any effect on a law because the law no longer exists in its original form that was brought to the court. So if you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, is that if New York changes enough of this law, the court can look at that and say, well, the law really doesn't exist. It doesn't affect people in the way that it did when it came up to us, and so we're just not going to hear it anymore. That would basically be moot. Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not that's something that is or is not going to happen, and we don't know 100% if it will or not, but that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what a lot of articles are writing. They're saying, is this something that's going to be basically thrown out because it no longer exists under current New York law, because they've changed so much stuff about it. But this is the way that I look at it. Okay, so today, in today's video, I just want to give you guys my opinion on what's going to happen here. This is what I think is going to happen. I think that the Supreme Court is still going to hear it, and I still think that we're going to get a favorable outcome. And that's not because New York changed any laws or rules or regulations on how people can obtain a permit. I think it's because there's so much confusion amongst the lower courts. So other laws, very similar to New York's, exist, like in California and other places where you have different opinions in the lower courts, and I think there still needs to be clarification in the Supreme Court, and I think that the Supreme Court is going to want to clarify this for the lower courts. I think that it's basically gotten too big. It's gone too far. It's too important of a case now to just call it moot or to simply just throw it away. I think that they're going to try and clarify it for the lower courts so that it doesn't find itself back up at them again with the consideration to have to go through all that process and all that work again. I think they're still going to hear it, and I still think, just based off of what I've seen, that I still think we're going to get a good outcome. But New York, man, they are sketchy. New York will do everything in their power to try and win, even if they have to go through backdoor channels and do things that are not right, obviously. I mean, they don't care about the people's rights, just like these other states that have something similar. They don't care about the people's rights. They care about their agenda and what they believe, and they're willing to do absolutely anything to hang on to that power. Nonetheless, I'm watching this one really close. I'm really excited to see what happens here. If we don't get a favorable outcome, it'll be absolutely terrible, and we'll see these lack of freedoms or push against freedoms get even worse. So hopefully it ends up in our favor, but we'll see what happens here. I think over the next few months we'll know a lot more, and maybe we'll have a decision. So again, I wanted to talk about that New York versus NYSRPA case. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.